You're going to need a bigger boat.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Say hello to my little friend!
Manning the second. Let me say that again. This is Noel T. Manning the second, hanging out with Mr. Adam Long. And you are listening and you're watching, if you're on Google Hangouts and YouTube, Cinema Scene on 88.3 WGWG. We talk movies every single week. I'm Noel Manning again. That's Adam Long, and we're all about the movies. How are you, man?
Good.
Very good. Man, a weekend at the box office, it was pretty interesting. We had a holdover, which we knew was going to be holding over based on the competition for number one. We will let people know about that. Also, you and I both will talk about a movie that we saw, Burt Wonderstone, and you'll talk a little bit about what's that movie, The Call, with Miss Halle Berry.
The Call,
yeah. Bond girl, and also an X-Men. What is this? The X-Men, but they're women.
Yeah.
You know what? I've always had some issues with that, and my mom did as well, and so did my wife. So we may have to discuss that a little bit in the future as well. If you've never seen or if you've never heard this show, what is all about talking about movies. We give you box office results. We tell you what's hot in the movie news, and we also share some hot topics from time to time.
Yes, we do.
What hot topics are we hoping to share this week, Adam?
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe the films of Don Scardino.
Okay, all right.
This is a sarcastic thing. It's a reference to Burt Wonderstone. You'll get the joke later, but anyway.
And if we have time, and we really hope we do, we've actually sent out some things via Facebook asking about some of your favorite movies from Saturday Night Live alums, because really no other TV show has spawned more successful film stars as Saturday Night Live over its history. And it's just been amazing when you really look at the body of work from these alums. Pretty incredible stuff. So hopefully we will get to that, because we have sent some things out to our friends and our fans and asked them, hey, share some of your thoughts. And they did.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and they run the gamut. Some of them didn't successfully make the transition. I'm thinking Julia Sweeney and Pat. There wasn't a long running series of Pat films, so
yeah. That one. I'm very happy that one didn't make it past I'm happy I didn't see several sequels pop up from that. The franchise just didn't quite happen. Also, Night at the Roxbury did not quite happen beyond just that one film.
No, or The Ladies' Man. Wasn't that the other one? The Tim Meadows? Yeah.
Yes.
Another one,
so there maybe we could spend some time talking about the unsuccessful franchises that did not quite happen from Saturday Night Live, but there were some successes, and hopefully we'll be talking about those.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to dive into any movie news before we talk about box office?
Yeah, I had something here that definitely bears mentioning in case no one's heard about it. Everybody's been speculating about Tom Hooper, who directed Les Miserables, and what his next film is going to be, and it looks like it could be the Freddie Mercury biopic starring Sacha Baron Cohen that we've been hearing talk about. I've been excited ever since I heard about this project, and it's funny how how the project evolved or came together. Is that Sacha Baron Cohen, I heard him say in an interview that he was told by a lot of people that he looked a lot like Freddie Mercury, and he kept hearing that, and he thought, hey, maybe we could make a film about Freddie Mercury. Maybe I should do that. So he went and got the rights to the Freddie Mercury story, so he actually owns them, and they've been trying to get this thing put together with a director. And it says, according to the industry publication Deadline, there have been a few offers for Hooper to direct. And if he were to direct the film, he'll be reunited with Sacha Baron Cohen, who played the errant innkeeper in the film of the musical. So they've already worked together, so maybe that's where this is coming from. But he was confirmed as playing the Queen frontman by guitarist Brian May in October of last year. May broke the news on his website and added that the filming should begin in spring 2013 for a spring 2014 release. Film still doesn't have a title, and it'll chronicle his life up to the Live Aid performance in 1985. So it's not going to get into his death from AIDS or any of that, So anyway, possibly we may have the Freddie Mercury film finally. And
Very cool.
There's definitely an interesting story to tell there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And what an amazing body of work from a musical standpoint that Freddie Mercury and Queen put together. It was quite incredible, and love what they were able to do with music and with rock music, and combining some things that normally you just didn't hear. And they were innovative, and
they were.
Without a doubt, it was quite impressive to hear some of their music. Still is. And I grew up listening to Queen. Now I have a son who is a Queen fan as well, and so excited to see what may be happening with this film.
Yeah, and he's a larger-than-life character anyway, and so, he always lived life as big and extravagantly as possible, so this is definitely, I think there's enough material there for an interesting story, for sure.
Absolutely. I do want to share another bit of news that came out this week. Ashton Kutcher's film, based on Steve Jobs, has got a delay. This movie is going to be delayed indefinitely, and they've just actually calling the name of the film Jobs. One of the reasons they say that they're holding off on this is because need a little bit more marketing. Originally, it was scheduled to be released next month. That's in April. But they said we need to push this a little bit more. We need to do a little bit more with the film. So we're going to spend a little more time putting it together and getting a real good push for this. And so that's some news I wanted to share as well.
Yeah, I wonder what the critical consensus is on this by people who have seen it, because I don't know, when they're talking about marketing the film, I mean, it could be a dud, and they're going to try to shine it up in some nice wrapping. So
yeah, you never know. It did have a premiere at Sundance, and the buzz. I really have been looking, and I haven't quite found the buzz, positive or negative, on that.
Yeah.
So have you heard anything?
I really haven't either. They're kind of tight-lipped about that. So.
Okay. All right. What other news have you got that you want to make sure you share?
Well, a couple things here. I wanted to give a shout-out to our friends over at Movie Geeks United. I mean, they've been really nice to say some good things about us and our radio show, and, we appreciate everybody that listens to our show, but if you're looking for another show to listen to when our show is over, I just wanted to mention Movie Geeks United. It's a great podcast. You can find it at blogtalkradio.com/moviegeeksunited. And these guys really know movies. They do a 2-hour show every week. They have a lot of high-caliber guests on their show, and I just wanted to mention these guys. They've been really nice to say some positive things about us, and so just wanted to give them a shout-out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful thing when we can share the love of movies, and we can talk about each other and share other great folks who are doing the same kind of thing we are, just talking about films for the love of talking about films.
Yeah, exactly. And lately they've had some really good guests on their show. Ed Harris, they had Marcia Gay Harden, they had director Susan Seidelman, who made Desperately Seeking Susan, and so those are some of the types of guests you'll find on their show, and they've again, just Google them if nothing else. Movie Geeks United, great podcast, and there's also a podcast out there that just started about a month ago for horror film fanatics. I want to mention this too. It's called The Killer POV, and it's hosted by some there's 3 people hosting it. 2 of the people work for Fangoria magazine, and they really know their stuff as far as horror films go. They've been in the industry, all 3 of them, for a while in various capacities. And so if you want a horror movie podcast, one that specifically mentions horror films, and they'll all carry a pad with you when you're listening to the show, because they throw out titles that even those of us like myself who've seen a lot of films, you always manage to get to some obscure titles that sound interesting and enticing. So Killer POV podcast, that's another one. So
yeah, and they spend a lot of time just talking about really horror films or even horror blend films like Warm Bodies, which was still out in theaters actually. So it's kind of a hybrid film.
Yeah, so those are 2 good shows to listen to when ours ends. You can pick up and give those guys a try, because they've got some good information there too. So anyway, I guess the next thing we can talk about is the Mad Monster Party here. Yeah,
let's talk about that, man.
Yeah, we've got that coming up this weekend. Last year was the first year they did this. It's an opportunity for fans of movies and such to meet actors and actresses and even musicians it's just a gathering of all these people, mostly horror and fantasy actors, and they'll sign things for you and take photos with you, and you can chat with them and things of that nature. And it's going to be Charlotte, in Charlotte, North Carolina, this coming Saturday, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can get a 3-day pass or a 1-day pass, and they're basically, it's at the Blake Hotel. That's where it's at.
Tons of guests as well, man. You look at everybody from Peter Criss from Kiss to a Jaws reunion with quite a few folks in that. David Naughton, who I remember from American Werewolf in London. And do you remember David Naughton was also the singing dancer for the Dr. Pepper commercials? Remember, I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, he's a pepper?
Yes,
that was David Naughton.
He was also in Hot Dog the movie. You remember?
Yeah, I do, man. Yeah, and you've also got Danny Glover, Bruce Campbell. Love Bruce Campbell from the Evil Dead series. Also, Bruce Campbell is a regular star each week on a TV show that I like to watch called Burn Notice. And so Bruce Campbell will be there as well. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to meeting him. I really am. And he's only going to be there Saturday, so if you're going to go, Saturday's your day. Maybe Leah Thompson from Back to the Future films, played Michael J. Fox's mother in all of those. Not to mention the infamous Howard Duck and the original Red Dawn and the John Hughes film Some Kind of Wonderful. So, and then they're having a Jaws reunion, with all these these people from Jaws. The Susan Backline, who is the swimmer at the beginning of the film, and Carl Gottlieb, who's the co-writer of the film. Also wrote co-writer of The Jerk, so and many other films that we remember from our childhood days. So it'll be a lot of fun, I think. So
yeah, good deal. Yeah, and I know some folks around this way they're going to be checking out the Mad Monster Party as well coming up in Charlotte. So you'll have to give us an update next week on that, Adam. And I will not be able to go. I'll actually be in Charleston at a conference, so we'll not be able to make the fun this weekend at the Mad Monster Party, but I know that a lot of folks are going to be checking that out and hope they have a great time. And if you get a chance to set up some interviews, Adam, please do that for us, man. I will do that. Last year we got lucky. I got a print interview. Didn't get one that we could do over the air, but we did get I did get a phone interview, and I put that up on the CinemaScene Facebook page. So I think you can still find that, I believe. So. And we do have, just to let folks know, if you do want to find us on Facebook, you can do that. Just go to Facebook.com, and CinemaScene, I think, is all you have to type in there, and you'll find that, Facebook.com CinemaScene, and you can see some of our reviews. You can also see our video reviews that we will later post, and so you check it out. I encourage you to friend us, fan us, be a part of the conversation. And one of the great things we do ask about our CinemaScene page is we want our listeners and our viewers to participate in this whole thing. So if you've got movies that you want to review, post it on there. We want it to be all about you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we love for people to join in on the conversation. So yeah, absolutely. Feel free to do that. That's the whole beauty of social media, man. Mm-hmm. It's all about being social and being interactive. And so we do want you to interact with us on the CinemaScene Facebook page. Are you ready to dive into box office from last weekend, man? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, unless you had any other news that I was missing. Well, I'm going to get this out of the way. I've had this clipping sitting around for about a month, and I'm going to make this brief. But we talked about the Star Wars spinoffs, the Han Solo, the Bounty Hunter, Boba Fett, and Yoda maybe getting a spinoff film or a TV series. And there was a funny article from Associated Press, and they meant, this is kind of sarcastic stuff, but still funny. About other characters that maybe possibly should have gotten their own show, and maybe so they suggest Admiral Akbar. They said an Admiral Akbar film could revolve around his deep-seated paranoia of being ambushed. As Akbar drives into a parking garage, he could say, "It's a trap," or Akbar drops off his dry cleaning and says, "It's a trap." And if you remember, he's the leader of the Rebel Alliance's indoor assault, and he looks like a fish, and he's just, every time he turns around in Return of the Jedi, he's saying, "It's a trap." So they're saying his deep-seated paranoia could be the basis of a film, so I think that's interesting. Okay. It says, or the Cantina Band. Who doesn't want to know more about the Mo Isley Cantina Band, technically known as Figran Dion and the Modal Nodes? One can't help but wonder about the band dynamics. So, what about Max Rebo, the blue elephant-looking guy who plays keyboards in Jabba the Hutt's palace? Do Do they ever jar? Did they ever jam together?